and welcome back to Cosmic Chats.
Hi, everybody.
We have a beautiful guest today, Ayala. Say hey again.
Hi, everyone.
She is a Reiki master, an astrologer, mother of children, and she is joining us. Those of you who recognize her, she was part of our beautiful live stream after the election. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. There are yoga classes, her fire Reiki for free. And you will have a blast. You can just pop in anytime, including group meditations. We're going to remind you, if you can, please like and subscribe. It super helps. And also, if you have a channel that you want us to help lift up, put that in the comments, because we will go and subscribe to your channel, and then you write down that we subscribe so we can help everybody and lift them up on their new endeavors with life. So with that, let's get moving forward. So Ali, how would you describe the taste of a banana to someone who's never had one?
It's such a good question. For me, eating is a multi-sensory experience. So I feel quite limited in describing the banana only by taste, right? Because I'm like, come on, I want to bring in all these descriptors. I mean, so I imagine someone who's never had a banana, I right away think of a baby. Like a little baby, and they're in their high chair with their little tray, and the mother's in the kitchen, and she's, slicing the banana. But before she even gets to the slicing, right, maybe she hands the banana to the baby, and the baby picks it up, and it's this like rubbery yellow thing, and it's like banging it. Like it doesn't know what to do with the banana. So the mom takes the banana, and she peels, and the whole time, the baby's like watching, like, it doesn't even have the word banana. The mom might go, banana, right? And then the question is, are you like a peel and bite banana eater? Or are you a peel and tear? Do you peel it all the way down and chop? Like, what kind of banana eater are you? So the mom takes the banana and she cuts it up and puts it on the tray. And right away, the baby grabs it and is like mushy. Right? It has that feeling. It's sticky. And then later that night, the mom is washing the banana out from in between the baby's fingers, because baby banana gook got stuck in there, like, and it just comes out. Yeah. Right, everywhere. And then is a num 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 num, right, all over the face. And you can tell it tastes good because the baby doesn't really spit it out. Usually, some babies might.
So we're going back to all sensory baby response to how you would describe the taste of a banana. It's an experience. It would be in 4D. If it was an entertainment experience. Do you like bananas?
I do like bananas. I actually eat them pretty regularly. I'm a peel and tear. And my husband's a peel and bite. And my children don't eat bananas.
They don't like them?
Yeah, they don't really, They don't gravitate towards the yellow banana at all in the fridge. So
I think that I'm really getting into people's psyche here when it comes to banana. Forget ink blots. Just ask the Cosmic Chats question. How would you describe the taste of a banana to someone who's never had one? It's been fascinating.
Yeah, take it way past sweet. I mean, sweet, it's definitely sweet. I got to throw that in there. Sweet, mushy. I asked my daughter, just out of curiosity, she said gross.
It's to her.
I do like them though.
Will she have banana medicine?
Ooh, what is banana medicine?
Well, so lots of kids' medicines are flavored, so they'll consume it. Will she have any medicine that's flavored banana?
Well, that made me think of the smell, right? So there's also like the smell of the banana. No, she probably would not take banana medicine. Yeah, that would be a no. Although maybe banana lollipops. I can remember as a child receiving, when we would go to the bank, they would give out those dum dum lollipops, and I would always get the banana lollipop, and it smelled like bananas.
Oh, it's a big part of taste, is smell, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of children, when you
Yeah.
were a wee one, when
Yeah.
did you have your first existential life crisis?
Okay, so what exactly do you mean by existential life crisis? Is that like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing?
Could be, depending on your state of consciousness when you were a child. The
Mhm.
big, broad picture is a moment in time where you realized that there was something else going on here. Maybe adults didn't know everything, or something didn't make sense, or
Mhm.
wow, it's not just me anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I think it happened to me when I was being born.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. It probably happened in the womb. That's my memory of it, at least. So I've done a lot of training and rebirthing and breath work, holotropic breath work, integrative breath work. And so it's in a long-term, multi-year training. And as a part of that training, I would often work on inducing memories in myself and in other participants in the womb, in utero, and in the birth canal. So one of the memories I very distinctly can recall, and I was in a program. You know, I was actually being trained how to do this. So I was with probably 2 or 3 people. They were kind of creating the space for me, and I was breathing. And it was an intentional practice, and the intention was to re-experience birth memory. And my breath started to come in, and I remember the facilitator saying something like, "Okay, you know, the contractions have begun." Like, so she was guiding the process that we were in. And I definitely had the feeling right before she said that of some sort of kind of like really powerful release within my body. And then she said that, and I was like, oh wow, like I started the contractions as the baby. Like I did whatever I had to do. I was ready. I was like, okay, let's get the show started. And it was very clear the pathway that I was headed in. And it was opening, and there was this sense of I felt these rushes of energy where I felt like I was the center of all of the movement. I was the center of the flow and the creation of the change that was happening. And it felt very powerful. I felt very empowered. And suddenly everything froze, and I couldn't move at all. And I was like, so I was experiencing the memory, but I was also an adult at this point. So I came to understand that they gave my mom a shot to stop the contractions because she had to have a C-section, because there was a hospital protocol in place that if you had one C-section, you had to have all of your children by C-section. So, and I knew the best path out was vaginally. Instead, they stopped all the progress that I was doing naturally. And then there was so much scar tissue in the way, and they kind of pulled me back and took me in a different direction. And I knew at that moment I kind of had a core belief that came in at that time. And the core belief was, I can't be everything I could be here in this world. There are things in place that are going to hold me back. So that was my first existential crisis.
That's pretty amazing. You know, because the perception could have been taken that I never got mine, coming out completely wronged. You robbed me of my first experience in life. You pulled me out when I didn't want to go that way. You could have
Right.
become a very digging in, it's my way or the highway kind of individual as a result. Well, you did have awareness of, oh, there are other factors at play. I'm part of something that I'm not really in control, would you say, was what came about
Yeah.
that?
For sure, for sure. So there was a lot of different feelings in it. Most more than anything else was there was the shock of how powerful I felt to how powerless. That shift from so much movement and feeling like at the center of the movement to complete paralysis was shocking. So a lot of that particular session was around clearing the shock. And so what we would do was work with affirmations. So the affirmation that I created, I think it's been several years. I mean, I'm remembering this. This happened when I had the memory was probably 2010. So we're talking 11 years ago that I came to understand this. But the affirmation I worked with was something like, I am a co-creator of the world around me. And the other one was, I am one with the changes that are taking place within me and around me. So I worked with those two to try and reconstellate the energy of that experience. But I still to this day will have experiences where things have a ton of momentum and they're going and they're going and they're going, and then they suddenly stop, and then I'm turned in a different direction. That happens consistently in my life. And I have to kind of work with it. I don't have the same kind of reaction to it or thought process around it when it happens now. I'm more like, okay, this is changing, and I might be able to continue on that path if I really want to, or do I really want to maybe check out the other path? Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. Now, when this happened and you had this experience, this awakening, had you
Yeah.
had your own children at that point?
I had one. I think I had one. But I started rebirthing, yes, about 6 months after I had my first child.
And how did that change when you were bringing the second child into the world?
Tremendously. I went from, my first birth was a C-section, emergency C-section. I had twins, and one ended up living, and the other one ended up dying about 2 weeks after they were
Oh,
born.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So that was a very full spectrum experience, and it was definitely a little bit of power. I felt empowered at times, and I felt powerless at times. I had both going on. And then my second was and it was a C-section, and I had a completely natural birth with my second, which is really, really not common, a VBAC. So I basically went from the first, which was extremely medically followed. The doctors followed everything I did for that whole 6 months, to one that I didn't even have a doctor. I just had a midwife. I saw her like every month, but I only had like one test done the whole time. Completely natural birth. Yeah, it was like night and day, the difference. And a lot of it had to do with the breathworker training and the rebirthing that I did, for sure.
Your first child, have you ever spoken to them about if they had memories of being pulled out like you did?
Yeah, they're 16 now. I think that we've talked about it. You know, both of the girls are very aware of who I am and my training and my kind of experiences. So I don't think they have memories like that. However, if they were to go into environment like I was in, where we were actually inducing the memories and kind of, intentionally practicing and working with them, I think they probably would. I think they would need a really skilled practitioner because of the amount of birth trauma that was present for the first child. For the second one, I think it would be a little easier. And I've seen that in my own work with people. I've rebirthed probably, it's so funny, I'll still run into people and they're like, you were my mom. Grown people say this to me. Yeah, they're like, you were my mom at the rebirthing center. And I was like, yeah, I kind of remember that, and they really remember. But yeah, I've probably rebirthed probably somewhere between 20 and 50 people in the Baltimore area, and it's pretty interesting because everybody has different memories and different experiences that kind of surface, and how do you work with that material, which could potentially remain extremely unconscious, but through the practice of the breath and the intentional rebirthing, you become aware of things about your parents, about the birth. I mean, I was in that training for 5 years. It was a very formative time in my life. It definitely changed everything.
Wow, that's 5 years. I mean, people go through rebirthing, right, for a therapeutic work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that this? You were training to be an actual rebirthing
practitioner?
practitioner?
Yeah.
Or yes.
I thought about it, and I have not completed all of the things that I would have to do to be a rebirther through that particular program, but that's okay. I got pulled out and went in a different direction.
Well, like you did at birth.
Yes, it keeps happening.
You got pulled out and went into a different direction. And what's quite interesting, that those of you who are listening, before we started recording, somehow we were talking about, Ali also does astrology, and we started talking about my birth for whatever reason, of why I've been tracking back with the long-term injury, that I'm sure something happened back there. So of course, not an accident that this is something that was there, already tapping into that consciousness coming up in our cosmic chat today. Those of you who sort of just skipped along and just joining us, please put yourself in the comments, share your love with Ali. And if you even yourself had any of those experiences, we'd love to hear about it, so people know they're not alone. If you have an intuition that probably something happened back there, you don't know what it was, Ali would probably agree with me that you're probably spot on, and might be something to open up other layers. I'm thinking that maybe I should redo it now. Maybe what else can I clear away, right? There's a big world that needs to be changed. And I'm going to take this quick moment. Those of you who can see behind the plant, you'll see a little image called Vedic Meditation Stories. That is a free ebook that we have if you have Amazon Unlimited Kindle, which is a compilation of stories from individuals that would never expect to learn Vedic meditation, who did, and how it changed their lives. There is no editing on the stories, not just because I'm lazy, but because I wanted their genuine, authentic voice to come out in all of that was on the page, and you will be very moved by these stories. They have a beginning part about what Vedic meditation is, and I encourage everyone to take a wee look at that. I will give you, it is the only publication globally that has true stories from individuals, and any donations that are made through purchasing the book go to the nonprofit. So that's Vedic Meditation Stories. It's a little ebook, you just flip it open, and it's very, very powerful. The youngest person I think who wrote was 6 when they learned. We have someone who survived a bullet to the head and was completely unemployable, and now has a job and a family. And the doctors attested it to the practice of meditation in their case. But I want to just give a shout out for that. So after that experience as a child, was there another experience in childhood that was that dramatic that you've tracked back?
Well, my childhood was relatively happy, but I do remember, it seems so small, but I remember riding to school one day with my mom. I don't remember why I was late or what was happening, but I had to take a note in to the front desk and say, please excuse Allison for being late. And she said something in the note that wasn't true. And I was like, but Mom, that's not true. And she said, yeah, well, we're telling a little white lie. And I thought, oh, wait a second. I'm not sure how to feel about this because I thought we were supposed to tell the truth. And I'm not really sure now if I can even trust you because I'm not sure when you told me a little white lie and what constitutes a little white lie and what's a big lie. And so that was maybe I want to say I was in the kindergarten or first grade when that happened. And it seems like such a small thing, but I remember the feeling it gave me, which was like, you're a liar. Sorry, but what are you doing? And my mom's lovely, and it was really, I've done that as an adult now. So basically, I had several experiences where I was like, I don't know how I feel about the grown-ups around me. Like, I don't know if anyone around here is really trustworthy.
And how old were you then?
That was like in elementary school.
Elementary school, maybe 8, 9?
Yeah, well, in kindergarten, I was 5, so 5, 6.
Oh,
5, 6.
okay.
Yeah, I was really like not sure what to think about a lot of things. I just didn't. I always questioned everything, and I can also remember another one. I went to this really small church, and there was only a few children there. And when I was like in kindergarten or first grade, we would have the Christmas play, and I was like the little angel. And I thought, oh, it'd be so cool if I could ever be like Mother Mary in the Christmas play. So I finally got to be like maybe 9 or 10, and I was Mother Mary in the Christmas play, and I was so excited. My brother was Joseph, and we were like up on the stage, and there was this manger and this baby doll. Thank God it wasn't a real baby. In baby doll in the manger, and I'm like I start to get really nauseous, and I'm like slowly sinking down, like, oh. My brother's looking at me like, sit up, Allison, you're supposed to and I could not sit up, and I got so sick. I managed to get off the stage, but I actually had like a stomach virus. It wasn't even stage fright or anything like that. I managed to get off this stage, so I didn't actually throw up on baby Jesus. So
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for upchuck on baby Jesus.
Right, exactly. So that was a bit of an existential crisis too, because I was like, okay, well, really, I might not be made out for church.
I was this close to, doing it on baby Jesus. Oh, the shame.
Yeah, it would have been too much. Yeah, so yeah, we didn't go back. I don't remember ever going back after that, honestly.
With the children of your own now and all the work that you do, what would you like to leave for the planet, making it a better place than before you got here?
What would I like to leave? Well, I think, as a mother and you watch your children grow, that is my legacy in many ways. Your children become your legacy. And so there's great pride in when they hit their turning points or their what are they called, ceremonies that you have, coming of age ceremonies, whether it's a 5th grade graduation or a middle school graduation or a bar bat mitzvah or a quinceañera or maybe high school graduation, whatever those stepping stones are along the way, and you watch them grow and become the people that they're becoming. That is a very powerful experience of it just fills you with pride. It fills you with so many wonderful feelings to watch them. So that's definitely part of it. Whoever they become, I'll be proud of them. And then I've always thought of having like a community. I would love to have like a community where we all like have houses together, and we're friends, and we raise our children and we raise our grandchildren, and um, you know that would be fun. I think that would be nice. I've always kind
That's
of had
still
that idea.
possible. That's still possible. You have your community of your, shall I say, students or clients? Not quite sure which word is best for you. You have maybe your children will have children.
Mm-hmm.
That's still possible to create, but a sense of community that is developed from you infusing that before your body drops. What do you do to get yourself centered on a daily basis before dealing with children?
Yeah, I meditate every day. I don't necessarily do a mantra every time I sit down to meditate. My meditations are always a little bit different, based on whatever's arising in the moment. So I do that, and usually I do it twice a day. Sometimes I'll do a meditation, and then I'll do yoga nidra. So I have a couple different things that I do to center myself throughout the day. I also like to pull cards. That's another really nice practice that I do on my own. So but I definitely have a deep personal practice.
And those of you who don't know about yoga nidra, you can actually go look at another live stream we did in February, where at the end we have a lady from Australia who does a yoga nidra practice for us. So you can just tune into that and have a yoga nidra session anytime you want. So with that, we've come up to close to a half hour with Ali. It's been an absolute delight to go down the, I guess we would say, non-vaginal passage, really, is where we went to today. And if you want to find out some more light-hearted questions from Ali, not as deep, you can join us in part 2. So with that, we will say thank you so much. Have a look at the book, and toodaloo.
Bye, everybody.